What the fuck? On the 26th of February, Petros was suspended from a position of the marshal's office after being caught lockpicking assistant's guard in the observatory. While meeting with Pestilence, Isaac Smith is known to... Wait, while meeting with Pestilence, she lockpicked the guard? Okay, yeah. Isaac Smith is known to have a direct affiliation with a terrorist organization known as the Faceless, due to a video being delivered to the masters of Isaac torturing and dismembering an enemy of the organization. On March 4th, at around 23:45, Barrett was completing the termination of employment process for Ashira Petros as she had formally resigned. Ashira met with Barrett at the San Andreas State Marshal's office main lobby. Barrett walked her into the office as she was not clocking in. She stated she wasn't clocking in as such due to her suspension. In the office, Ashira gave her formal resignation notice to Barrett. Barrett asked if she needed to clear out her locker, which she acknowledged. She walked to the front desk, get her clocked in, get a locker key. Barrett watched as she emptied her locker and escorted her to the evidence locker room where she placed all her belongings into report locker 034. She was searched and found clear of any other belongings and walked back out to the front lobby. Right. When he stepped inside the room, he noticed several lockers left ajar. Peeking inside, all of the lockers pertain to the Faceless investigation. He documented the open lockers, but later discovered more evidence scattered through the office that multiple documents may have been tampered with, copied, or removed. You're shitting me. Or destroyed. Wait. I don't see these evidences. Like, that isn't in there. 137555? What is this? Operation Trojan? Hello? Barrett immediately began to investigate further and found evidence that 5 reports had been marked for export that had... You're joking. All reports relate to the Face investigation, including the master document with all notes and timeline. Barrett requested the door access logs from the digital card reader to the rear of the evidence room where the lockers are located, and received logs from IT department. In this logs, it showed that Ashira had accessed the room earlier in the day, during her suspension time, after stating earlier she had not been clocking on duty. As well, the time clock system logs her signing in as a marshal user around that time. Based on my training experience and the above facts, there's substantial cause to believe that there will be evidence to identify Ashira's connection with the Faces. I don't believe it, man. You know what? I'm at in Craig. Oh my god. $19765 was exported. This was exported? Hey, what? What is this? Masters have a dust in their faces and want that information for her ring back. What? What is this report? I don't even know what I'm reading.
Good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm okay. What about
Hey,
you? Are you feeling any
you know,
better?
still under the weather, but I mean, who knows? I always have a bit of a cough. Um, should we just tell you what? How about I let you get into the swing of things before I guess we talk about stuff.
I've already started getting into the swing of things, and I might jump off this. I might just jump off the swing at this point. So maybe it's best we talk sooner rather than later.
Okay. Where you at?
You want to come up to the observatory? Yeah.
I'm on the way.
Wait, I'll see you soon.
All right.
Bye. He called us. Right, I'm back in sec chat. I'm gonna go for a wee. All right. I'm back. I don't have my mustache yet. Okay. Do I take the hat off? Makes Doc look more sick. Let's do it.
How you doing?
Not great.
Um,
Sorry I disappeared.
well, I mean, if you did it, it's because there was a reason. I'm not gonna judge you or second guess whatever that reason was. What what is what's going on?
I'm sure you've probably been told about why I was where I was, right?
Um, you're talking about the medical center
Yeah,
originally?
yeah.
Um, I was told you had a conversation with um I refer to him as Dr. Kane as a Kane. Um, you got sick. You were provided
Jesus.
uh, a cure, and instead of taking it, handed it off. I guess to see what it was, and that's really the only extent uh, that I have.
I don't know if they found anything from the kill.
I spoke with Etta. She told me no, that nothing, from my understanding, has come of it. Nothing has. Um, I don't recall her exact wording, but it was seemingly like it wasn't going to be able to be replicated.
I feared as much.
She also said that when doctors were looking into everything, that medication isn't going to be the solution here. It's just entirely unresponsive to whatever they've seemingly thrown at it. Which, given the circumstances, also isn't surprising.
No. When I was in a hazmat and I got sick. I said the wrong thing. And he got pissed.
And that was it.
That was it. It was like a flex of a muscle. I was sick. That's all it took.
Yeah, I was working the kebab shop and he showed up. he he wanted to have a conversation, but then Bruce showed up, and I didn't realize this at the time, but maybe he thought Bruce was watching, because he said something to the extent of like, "We'll talk when we're not being watched." And then Bruce showed up. There was a court case that day, and that's why it was swamped, and no other stall was open. And Bruce just wanted food. He was going to order like 12 combos or something, and I was pretty much completely out. But before he left, he handed me um, $500 in cash, and shortly after, I was coughing continuously. which in a food setting, not really ideal. Because then I had Alana show up, you know, complaining that I was coughing. So then I had to go and leave, and yeah, it's just
Yeah.
spoken with this is a few days ago. I spoke with Pixie, for Pixie being dragged into everything and people asking her a million questions because she worked alongside him, and I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I also had someone tell me that you struck a deal, or at least that's what they suspect.
What? A deal? After everything that happened with us last time? No.
That's what I said, and they said that you wouldn't have. It's one of the promises that we've made to each other. But then I started to like. Honey, I'm not gonna lie. I sort of I kind of removed myself from the situation, and even though it was like something I didn't believe would be the case, like from the outside looking in, I can understand why people would suspect that to have been the case.
Why?
Well, because people don't realize what we've gone through, and it's easier for people to assume things that they don't know, and come to the conclusion that that's the most likely thing to have happened. Um, I mean, it was Snoopy who made the suggestion, and I kept telling him no. Like, I don't hate Snoopy for making the implication, right? Like when you're investigating something, it's good to consider all options, but it wasn't really privy to what we had gone through, and I
For
don't
a
know.
guy called Snoopy's a terrible detective.
Mm, not quite. Um, do understand that he he's he's new to this. And again, when you don't have any level of, um, I guess, experience with something like this, it's probably the safest bet to assume anything can be an option. And even the most resilient of people can sort of fall back and, I guess, not follow through, rather, with what they say they would do. I know that to you know not be the case, but someone who's unfamiliar with you, maybe not so much.
Right, but what on earth gave him the inkling that I made a deal?
Um,
When I had the cure at my feet, I gave it away. And here I am still sick 2 weeks later. That doesn't sound like someone who's made a deal to me. So
did bring that up.
why would he think that?
I don't know. Um, I don't know.
He didn't
I
give you a
don't.
reason?
I didn't really. Well, there was a lot happening, and I didn't. I think I may have clarified, but there's just been so many things happening recently. But I don't know if he was referring to the first time you had gotten sick and gotten better, or was referring to this situation in which you had gotten sick. Um, he was kind of just. He wanted to have a conversation with me regarding stuff, and I entertained it, and it was just one of the things that was brought up, and brought up, you know, the Four Horsemen and a bunch of different things, and I guess theories, and then it reminded me that after everything we went through last time, I've tried so hard to suppress all of the bullshit we went through that genuinely, I, I, there are just some things I don't remember. Which, as someone who puts blinders on and continues their, you know, their day to day, not the worst thing in the world, but when people start prying about what happened years and years and years ago, it's very difficult to start recalling that after trying so damn hard to not ever have to deal with it again.
Hey, we need to grab a beer together, man.
Yeah. I feel like I owe you an explanation for why I left. When I was, I don't really know when it was. Days are kind of blurred together. But when I was in that hospital, in that room, at some point I died. I don't know for how long. Could have been a second, could have been an hour. For the amount of times that doctors might have been in that room, I don't know. But when I died, I was, I guess I visited Norman. In what I can only assume was the place between. And told me I was dead. Told me you were sick.
Norman
Yeah,
told you I was sick.
yeah. At first I thought that, you know, Norman was just doing his job. And he was there to take me to the other side, you know, wherever that is. But then after a while we were talking, I heard Dr. Smith, and I woke up. I think I woke up back in the hospital room. I didn't have the machine attached to me anymore, and he said that he was doing me a mercy. And that he wanted me to call off the dogs. I'm assuming he's talking about marshals and police. And if I did that, then he'd kill you.
Wait, he wanted you to call off the marshals. Did you say if you did that, he would kill me, or if you didn't do that?
No, if he would cure you.
Cure. I thought
Yeah.
you said kill. Like, honey, the math is not mathing here.
I don't know. I still can't really wrap my head around why he would even care about the cops, police. I don't know. So I've been taking time to figure out what I'm gonna do.
Well, based on something Craig said the other day, it seems that there's a fairly big shift in Marshall's sort of refocusing on looking at government-related corruption, and that being a fairly strong focus. I don't know if that's actually going to be the case, but that, the low numbers of the marshals, probably the difficulty in hiring marshals overall. I mean, if you ask me, there really isn't much of a point dedicating many, if any, resources into this. Because, honey, all it takes is for this man to be in somebody's presence and they're sick.
Yeah.
For doctors to look into it and to acknowledge there's nothing they can do.
Well, I didn't come back to shit on my hands. And I don't plan to either. Though I don't think I'm gonna do what he asked. But I do have a plan to get you better.
Okay, but hypothetically, I get better, right? What's to stop him from making me sick again? The answer is there's nothing.
You're right. You're right, but he also said something to me before I got sick. That what he was doing would protect us from Norman. So either that's the sickness or the cure that will, I don't know. Still trying to figure it all out, but I got a feeling that either if we're sick or we're cured, one of the two, it won't matter if we get sick again, because for whatever reason, Isaac is going to keep us from Norman's grasp, but I don't know. I don't know. What I do know is that we can't control either. We can't control either of those two. Can't do anything to stop them. But what we can do is stop every single person who tries to work with them.
That's a tall ask. You know, we can beg and we can plead and we can attempt to force people to never step foot at that lighthouse, but people are going to do it anyways.
You're not wrong. But throughout all of this, throughout every single time these guys are turned up, they never just do it on their own. They use us. Pawns. Manipulate us into doing what they want, what they need. It's never just them working on their own. So if we can take the pawns off the chessboard, their game becomes a lot harder.
I don't know. I started hearing stuff about people trying to locate 2 white feathers, because if they were located, I forget the exact context, but something to the extent of, I don't know if it would make someone come back, or I don't know if that's just part of a deal. But honey, I had to break it to you. The pawns on this chessboard are think of them as being in like an isolated environment. There's no pulling them out. They're there, and even if they want out, they're in too deep.
You might be right.
Like, I don't want to be the, the Debbie Downer of the situation, but there's only so many times you can ask people to stop going, and they're going to continue doing it. They are. It's going to happen no matter what we do. The day that I got sick, I would say probably within 30 minutes to an hour of being sick, I saw Winston Walker. And I hadn't seen him in months. 3, 4, 5, 6 months. I don't know how long it's been, but it's been a very long time. And I don't know if it was the following day, or the day after that, but I get a call because Shang of the ADMC shot down 8 or 9 cops with a shotgun by the lighthouse. Because police were responding, from my understanding, to a call where I guess somebody had called in a body by the lighthouse. Come to find out, the body was Winston Walker. Etta was at the hospital at the time. And from my understanding, as she was walking out of one of the rooms or going through the doors, Norman Bones was there and handed her, if I understood this correctly, handed her Winston Walker's heart. And that same day, I believe Maple ended up going into the ICU because he got shot by Shang in that shootout. the reason I bring this up is because despite not having seen Winston for so long, he knew that you were sick. I tried having a conversation, but again, it was just so busy. It was very difficult to entertain a conversation while trying to, I guess, feed everyone. And although I have not yet gotten to speak to Flop, he also knew because he texted me. And it was like everyone I spoke to knew, and I didn't know how. Yeah, I don't know. Like there was just a lot of information being said throughout this time. Like Snoopy telling me he saw, I think it was Snoopy telling me he saw TJ Walker and spoke to him. And I just began thinking to myself, like, the reason there's no taking those pawns off the chessboard is because there are going to be people who would want TJ back. Or whoever else, for that matter. Whether it's because they feel guilty, whether they feel it's owed, whether they're trying to pay off a debt to somebody else. Those deals are going to be made whether we like it or not. So it doesn't matter how hard we try to stop people. It's going to happen regardless.
Maybe. But you know what? You know what got me sick? It's because I disagreed with Isaac when he said that all life is suffering. Start to finish. And I disagreed with him and I said, maybe for you. So if we run out of hope and motivation to help people, then they win. They win. And I'm not saying you're wrong about people and human nature and why they're going to do things, but I'll be damned if I'm not going to try and do something about it. And I'll be honest, just coming back from I don't really feel the same. It's like
What do you mean?
I don't know, I look at my hands and they don't feel like they're mine anymore. I don't know whether I question whether this is a dream. But I hope it's not. But I think
Well,
what happened to me might.
if you're dreaming, I'm dreaming, because I'm very much so here.
Hope so. Well, whatever happens, I just don't. I don't know. I don't know whether half of me is still stuck there. But I know that I'm not going to sit around and mope about it. I'm going to go do my best to put a stop to whatever's happening. And maybe I won't be here at the end of it. But I don't know. Maybe I'm already dead.
Um, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that me telling you to do or not do something is gonna affect anything. Um, uh, selfish part of me says try to try to convince you not to do anything crazy, but the other part of me knows again it it'll be fruitless. You'll just you're gonna do you regardless of circumstance, and um, nothing's really gonna change that at the end of the day. I don't know. For context, when I was first told about you getting sick, um, my immediate response was, if Richard did something, it was for good reason. He doesn't just do things on a whim. He doesn't, you know, like, strangely, I wasn't, it's going to sound terrible. Wasn't worried, and I guess my lifestyle of just putting my blinders on and continuing on as if nothing has happened kind of just shoves everything to the side and makes it easier to sort of just digest the fact that you're going to do whatever you're going to do regardless of the consequence. I don't know. It's such a double-edged sword.
I promise you, when I was away, I thought about doing nothing. And maybe trying to convince you to fly home to England and take Etta and Sean with us. We just live happily ever after. But something about what happened to me in the hospital, I'd be a ghost in a shell. And I don't think you deserve that for a husband, or after deserving it for a father. I've got to do this, otherwise I don't know whether I'll ever be myself again. And Isn't it my job as a father and a husband to keep you guys safe anyway? So I'm just gonna do my job.
Well, not that this means very much, but as long as you don't do anything stupid, which I know you won't do, but I felt it appropriate to say it out loud. Because again, I was first told, my immediate thought was there was reason. Just don't fall into a trap. It just for the same reason I could look at Snoopy and say he did not make a deal, despite the fact that, you know, I guess an uninvolved party looking at everything would probably draw a similar conclusion. Just I know you're not going to make any stupid decisions, but I'm just going to reiterate: don't make any stupid fucking decisions.
I will. But, you know, through all this and afterwards, just make sure that you reach out to Etta. She's gonna need she needs us, you know? And she needs you.
You said it right the first time. Us, not just me. Actually, I would very much so argue, definitely not me. Because when shit happens, I know my threshold. You know this. Everybody else knows this about me. I will shut down. The blinders go on. I will pretend that nothing is happening. I will ignore everything bad happening until there's nothing to ignore, and I snap. So,
Well, honey, I love you, but Etta needs us. And maybe you don't have that option anymore. You don't have the option to shut down. Not if I'm gone. But that's not gonna happen.
it's the hope.
If you get any worse, you let me know. You go to the hospital, alright?
If I'm being honest, I haven't really done much. It's typically Dr. Skip during the times I'm around, and after what Etta said regarding the cure not being able to be replicated and nothing responding, it seems, oh gosh, I hate saying this word, but pointless.
I don't think we know enough yet. So don't give up on the doctors. Because they might not have something now, but they might have something tomorrow. Great.
All right.
I love you.
I love you, honey. Nothing stupid.
Nothing stupid.
Look in such a beautiful city, just in such terrible people.
Maybe that's why they're here. Clean slate, you know. Brick. We need brick. Where's Craig? So I can scream at him. Oh, he's around there. Luka Kovacic? What? Okay. Yeah, we need to talk to Craig. Alright, I need a cup of tea. I need a cup of tea, cup of coffee. I need something. I need something. Alright, chat, I'll be back. I'll be back in just a minute. Nope, not the right song. There we go. Alright, see you in a minute.